Dear students, in my last interaction with you all, I discussed the course structure of LLM third semester. In this particular lecture, I am here before you all as a subject teacher of LLM 303. The title of this paper is Legislation, Principles, Methods and Interpretation. You all know how much importance of legislation is in our life. In any parliamentary form of governance, legislation becomes prime concern of the parliament. In the constitutional scheme of separation of powers, we have legislature, executive and the judiciary. Legislature is responsible for making the law, executive for the implementation of the laws, and so far as judiciary is concerned, it is for the purpose of interpretation of laws in case of any complexity or ambiguity, or in order to provide justice to the people who are living in any legal system. So this law not only governs the relation between the individual, but also the relation of the individual with the family members and with members of the society. And it also governs the relation of the individual with the state. And then where the states are corresponding with another state, or where one nation is dealing on some kind of international issue with other nations of the world, there also the law becomes very, very important. Depending upon the subjects which the law governs, we have different types of laws. We have international law, we have family law, we have criminal law, we have commercial law, we have income tax law, and like that, many other laws governing all the aspects of human life. Whether it is the education of the individual, it is the health of the individual, or the professional life of an individual, all is governed by legislation. So this legislation not only works in the normal circumstances, but it also protects the nation in cases of war, external aggression, or the internal disturbances. Then there can be some kinds of emergent situations, some kinds of extraordinary situations. There also law plays a very, very important role. You all know in present times we are going through the crisis of corona pandemic. To deal with this pandemic also, the parliament has made various laws and have laid down many guidelines and the policies, not only to deal with the crisis which have been there because of this pandemic, but also to ameliorate the conditions of the people who are living. So you all know that not only the parliament makes a law, but there may be some kind of situations or the emergencies where this power of delegation is exercised so that other authorities can also make the law when the parliament is not in session. Like you witnessed during the present crisis also, when the parliament was not in session, then ordinances were passed in order to have the laws in place so to meet the emergencies which are arising out of the corona crisis. So this legislation becomes very, very important, whether it is direct legislation or it is indirect legislation, whether you call it supreme legislation or the delegated legislation, all play a very, very important role in any legal system. So this particular paper has been designed with the objective of letting you know that what is the process through which law is passed. What are the authorities who are responsible for making the legislation? And then another objective of this paper is to let you know that what are the functions of the law, what are the different types of law, what is the origin and development of the law in various legal systems. And then another objective of this paper is to introduce you to different kinds of principles which are there for the purpose of making the law. Then over the years, the judiciary has evolved a number of principles for the interpretation of the laws. So another objective of this paper is to introduce you all various methods of interpretation which have been used not only to provide justice to the people but to help in organizing the society or to help the authorities to implement the laws in better way. The whole of this course has been divided into 5 units. Unit 1 discusses principles of legislation and relationship between law and public opinion. You all know how much important the principles are in our life. Similarly, if legislation does not follow the principle, then it may not fulfill the objective for which it has been enacted. So it is very much necessary for the legislature to follow certain kinds of principles in order to have the laws in a proper way. There have been thinkers, there have been philosophers who have given different principles of legislation. In our syllabus, mainly we will be discussing principle of individualism and the principle of socialism. And so far as the principle of individualism is concerned, for the enactment of the laws, we study Benthamite principle of legislation. We all know the Bentham has been the reformer of law. He was the one who helped the law to grow in a systematic and in a proper way. And he had a lot of influence upon the laws which have been framed in India also. And in present situation also, in present circumstances also, the Benthamite principles of legislation are very, very relevant. So in this unit, we will not only be studying his principle of hedonistic calculus, but we will also be knowing what have been the defects, what have been the shortcomings, or what has been the criticism because of which the individualism led to the socialism. Because when we emphasize upon the individual liberty or the freedom, then there are chances then that he or she may become autocrat. So, what the law should aim, whether it should give impetus to the individual liberties and the freedom, or it should take the society as a whole. Because it is said that when we do something in the perspective of society, then individual interests are served automatically. So whether it is a individualism which serve the purpose of legislation or it is a socialism where we put more emphasis upon the social goods or the social needs. We will be discussing in detail. Then we will also be discussing the relationship between law and public opinion. We all know that if the law is not based on the public opinion or if it does not follow the opinion or sentiments or the conviction of its people, it is bound to fail. So for the purpose of the success of any legislation or for its implementation in a better way, it is important that laws follow the public opinion of the country for which the law is being enacted. So, what has been the role of public opinion in framing of laws in India that we will be discussing in this particular unit? Then, in the second unit, we will be discussing the origin, growth, and development of legislation. How, over the centuries, the law has taken its shape. You all know before the advent of or the incorporation of nation and state, there were in practice laws made by God which were implemented through religious institutions, or there were some religious strictures or by the instructions by the religious gurus which worked as a law in any legal system. So, what has been the growth and development of the legislation that we will be discussing in this particular unit? Then also the types of laws and what are the criteria of legislation. Besides, this particular unit will also be dealing with the procedure by which the laws are enacted. What is the process through which a bill undergoes to become an act? Then what are the different kinds of bills? There may be ordinary bills, there may be private bill, there may be money bill, there may be financial bill. How these bills are introduced and what is the process for this bill to become an act? So this particular unit supplements the paper of constitutional governance also, because here also you learn the different methods of legislation and the parliamentary procedure. There are different committees in the parliament also, whether it is a select committee or it is a standing committee which helps in making of the law through its deliberations and discussions. We will be paying heed to all these committees also. What are these committees? What is the constitution of these committees? And what are the powers and functions of these committees? Then comes the third unit. In the third unit, we will be discussing the delegated legislation. As I told you earlier, that in all the circumstances, it's not possible for the parliament to make the law, because the life has become very, very complicated with the advent of the technology. There are so many advancements in various fields of life for which some experts' knowledge is required. And the parliamentarian sitting in the parliament may not be the expert of all the subjects. For that particular purpose, we need that this power of legislation should be delegated to some other authority. So, what is the constitutional scheme? Who can make the law where some kind of expertise is required or some special subjects are required? So, what are the situations in which this power of legislation can be delegated to other authorities? So, whether the executive, which is mainly responsible for the implementation of laws, they can also make the law. We have in our constitutional scheme the ordinance making power of governor and the president. And you witnessed in this corona crisis also that this ordinance making power has been utilized to serve the needs of the society to meet this crisis. So what is this power of ordinance making? In what situations this power is exercised? What are the limitations on it? That we all will be studying in this particular unit. Then what can be the limits of delegated legislation? Whether it is the parliament alone which can put the restrictions upon the delegated legislation, or there are some judicial control also. So these many topics cover the unit 3rd. So far as the 4th and 5th units are concerned, there we are mainly studying the laws of interpretation or the rules of interpretation. What is interpretation? What is construction? What are the different rules, like what is golden rule, what is mischief rule, what is harmonious construction, what is purposive construction, then what are different aids for the purpose of the interpretation. There may be some internal aids which are there within the act or statute itself, which help in the interpretation of the laws. Then there are some external aids also in the form of the books, in the form of the parliamentary history, in the form of the precedents of other courts. So, what are these internal and external aids which help in the interpretation of the laws, through which the justice can be conferred? Then, besides having these rules of interpretation, we also study how a particular statute operates, when it comes into being, and when it becomes extinct or when it becomes expired. So, this particular unit is dealing in detail with all the rules of interpretation. There are some special principles of interpretation so far as constitutional provisions are concerned. You may have studied, or I'm sure you must have studied in your preceding semesters also, the doctrine of territorial nexus, doctrine of severability, doctrine of eclipse, and doctrine of harmonious construction, or the doctrine of severability, which are used for the purpose of interpretation of complex or the intricate provisions of the Constitution. So these units of your course covers the rules of interpretation. Then what you are going to learn from this paper? What is going to be the outcome of this paper? So as I discussed in the objectives also, after studying this paper, you may be able to know the importance of legislation, its growth and development, what are the principles upon which the legislation should proceed, what is the procedure through which act and statutes are enacted, and what are the authorities responsible for making the law, and it also will be letting you know that how the legislation helps in organizing the society as well as in providing justice to the common people. I hope this small lecture must have given you some insight into the paper that we are going to study in the 3rd semester. I am sure some of you will opt for this paper, as this paper is very, very important, not only in supplementing or providing you some kind of knowledge about the principles, methods, and interpretation of laws, but it also provides you a very, very sound basis if you are appearing in any competitive exam. So I wish you all the very best and looking forward teaching you this paper in coming semester. Thank you very much.